Oh yeah. What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka the 100-time undefeated, reigning, undisputed welterweight social distancing champion, aka the damn the nigga lip master, aka Captain Crunch, um creator. Yeah, I'll claim it. Bringing you yet another episode of Switcher Sites. Episode 62 to be exact. It's crazy, kind of getting up there, so it's hard for me to actually struggling to keep track, but I'm managing. Today's date is July 7th. No, July is the month. That is 7. July 2nd, 2020. It is crazy that we're already in July and all this craziness is still happening. I guess in two fronts. So I guess due to all the craziness happening, the time has somewhat been flying by in terms of just the us being kept up in the homes. So, I mean, to be honest, if we want to be real candid right now, this is like vacation for me personally, but for, various other people that are, more outgoing and like the outside, I totally understand the struggle. For me, this is like, well, I kind of would do this anyway, but I guess if I'm forced to do it, damn it. Damn it. It's like I was thinking about going out, but now it's like now I'm forced to. It's kind of frowned upon if I actually go out. I mean, I guess I'll stay in and play games relentlessly like I've been doing, but gee willikers, man, just can't let me win, huh? But I digress. Stuff is getting more realer. People not listening. People not putting a damn face mask on. Shame on you. I would hit you right now. I mean, respectfully, everything going on, but yeah, man. Crazy surreal ass times we're in. Freaking lowest unemployment rate in history. Freaking this global ass pandemic. I think it's getting up there to killing the most people. I think there are some pretty bigger plagues and pandemics that have done more of that, but who knows? Like after all this is said and done, we don't even know anymore. So, man, crazy. It is still kind of surreal that like we're in these times right now. And then now we got all this other stuff happening now with, people, of course, standing up with this movement of bringing to attention people that have been, raping and molesting and things like that, of course. So, it's just crazy times. All these people you maybe partially looked up to, dare I say idolized to some extent, are now freaking straight up villains. It's like a twist at the end of the movie where like, you're actually the evil person, but it's like in this case it's way like 10 times worse, especially obviously for the people that were affected. So, man, hopefully everybody's being safe, staying safe, keeping your damn mask on, and not doing weird like half-ass mask stuff where you got your nose out, which defeats the whole purpose of having a mask because you are shooting air and breathing in, taking in air and molecules anyway. So it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you even serious? But I digress. Uh, with all that said, let's stop the dilly dallying and get right into it. Right, first big, I'd say pretty major, instance in terms of news that came pretty recently. For NBA 2K21, they revealed the final cover athlete. There's first, I think, Zion Williamson, Damian Lillard, and then now, of course, the legend, RIP, Kobe Bryant. So there's 3 editions. So I guess, and I think the cover athletes are tied to the specific edition. So specifically for the current gen version of 2K21, Damian Lillard is the cover cover athlete. And the special edition of 2K21, the Mamba Forever edition that includes the greatness himself, Kobe Bryant, is going to be for that edition as well. But for the next generation version, Zion Williamson is going to be on that cover for the standard edition, and then Kobe Bryant again for the special edition. But what was the interesting part that was definitely brought to a lot of people's attention, deservedly so, is that compared to the standard edition on the PS4, in terms of the price, it is actually it's a little difference, a little bit of a $10 difference between the the current generation PS4 edition and, well, I guess obviously Xbox One current generation, compared to the next generation PS5, Xbox Series X, which is $69.99. So obviously that raised a lot of flags. People are getting real suspicious and apprehensive, which is obviously very understandable. So yeah. So no justification, no explanation, just the price is $69.99, and it's the same version as the, well, with the upgrades and stuff, but the same game essentially. Interesting, they definitely make sure to add some extra points on here. Built for next gen, unbeatable graphic fidelity, 2-second load screens, new gameplay features, expanded game modes. It's like, okay, what is, that's cool and all, but that doesn't necessarily justify a hike in price, obviously, because you're paying that premium anyway for even getting to the next generation when that is. So it's like, I'm not quite sure about that. What justifies you upping the price? And I think this is even a bigger issue due to the fact that they're like off the gate, they're like starting a trend. Like this is the first we've technically have seen the price of a next gen console game. So it's interesting that this of all people, and of course 2K, who, like, they could just technically reproduce the same game. I mean, obviously people are going to have their criticisms, but people are going to buy it, which it has been pretty successful overall. in terms of the consistent sales charts and stuff. So for this to be $10 more and no real reasonable justification then yeah, just raising the price is going to cause some controversy. So I mean, that in of itself is just very, very concerning. Hopefully that isn't the trend, but who knows? I think $60 is a fair price all around for new games. It just doesn't make sense to hike a price just to hike a price, especially during these times we're in. It just doesn't add up to me. Just something feels a little grimy about it. I mean, I guess we could go back to back to the N64 days where, we remember the cartridges, the games are like $80, and then you don't even factor in the inflation, so that technically was even super expensive compared to that. So interesting stuff, man. How's it going, Slayer? Yeah, man, it's gonna be real weird to see if this actually follows through and if people are gonna respond to it. But I mean, one thing I guess worth mentioning is that technically, if you do buy, and that's the thing too, if you buy the Mamba Forever edition, then you can get the standard edition. It seems like, which that in of itself is just, that's even somewhat grimier. Because technically, in theory, you would just get if you got the Mamba edition for the PS4, you should get the Mamba edition for the next gen. But it is very construed. Because, yeah, at least according to their Twitter, buy the Mamba Forever edition for PS4, and you get the standard edition because it shows the exact cover art for the standard edition for the next gen consoles. That is kind of nasty. It's a lot of issues that's going to cause controversy here. You paying $100 hypothetically to get the Mamba Forever edition, only to upgrade it and get the basic edition for next gen, which the only difference is $10, or at least in this case, you paid the $99. So you technically should get the Mamba Forever edition for PS5. That's super suspect. Super sus. Yeah, they're gonna get a lot of backlash if they stand by this. That has to be an error because I refuse to believe you're gonna pay $100 for the Mamba Forever edition on PS4, and then if you want get only the basic edition for PS5, and then expect to get another $100 to get the Mamba Forever edition for PS5. That is ridiculous. That is insane. Smoking. 2K is smoking right now. I'm not even into sports games like that, and I'm livid a little bit. I'm livid. I guess you can't be a little bit livid, but I'm partially irritated. Let's be more accurate. That is gonna be, they are about to get some heat. Let me check, see if there's any corrections. I guess this isn't officially by them. This is according to a gamesindustry.biz article. Yeah, at least from what they have on here. Yeah, man, paying $100 to get the Mamba Forever edition for PS4, and then you don't even upgrade to that same edition on PS5. I could even give them some leeway if you know get the standard edition and you have to maybe pay a slight upgrade fee, which even in of itself is still ridiculous considering you should give people some leeway for cross generational, transition, and that in of itself would help encourage people to jump to the next generation. So that in of itself is just horrible. But just the fact that you don't even get fully upgraded to the exact same edition on the next generation, paying way more than you should for the game in terms of the special edition, that is insane. 2K is on a different planet mentality that is not sane right now. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, regardless, the main precedent for that is concerning precedent, if anything, is that we potentially are going to be paying $70 for a standard edition for each new game on the next generation, which I hope is not the case. I mean, $60 is very fair, especially when you factor in people, developers and companies shoveling in DLC packs and stuff like that, cosmetics. It's just, that's not cool. It's not cool. It's really no reasonable justification for doing that. It's been 60 for the past how many generations? I think technically it was 50. I think games were 50 back in like the PS2 Xbox, original Xbox and GameCube era. So I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah. We'll see. But at least from what we have currently in terms of that information, it is 2K about to get some heat for this. Not the good heat either. I mean, I guess I don't know if you can really get good heat, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Moving on. Resident Evil 8. So, according to a Famitsu interview, which is a solely Japanese-based news company, they actually got an interview with the producers. Yeah, the producers of Resident Evil Village, even though it's technically Resident Evil 8. I guess you can technically say both, but it seems like they want you to say Resident Evil Village, at least in terms of all the marketing and stuff. That's what it seems to be. So biohazardcast.com actually translated a lot of that interview, since it was purely in Japanese, and some interesting details for sure. The development timeline. So in terms of the interview, I'm just going to skim through. I'm not going to read everything word for word, but 2.5 months since Resident Evil 3 released. That's totally an excerpt, which I did what I said I wasn't going to do, but let me backpedal. So 3.5 years since we began planning the title. So pretty much that's so far the development time for the game, at least kind of up until the release. Hopefully will be next year. They said next year, but I don't think they gave a definitive date. So they definitely been working on this for a reasonable while. I know I heard they said it was started out as a spinoff, or I think it was going to be the next Resident Evil Revelations 3, but I think it was received so well by playtesters as well as the inside development team that they actually decided to make it mainline. So, and I know this is a very important one, so I'll read this for sure. So in terms of Famitsu, Chris was in Resident Evil 7. What's he been up to since then? What's his relationship with Ethan and Mia? And according to them, it's not strange to think they formed a new relationship since Resident Evil 7 based on their shared experience. We hope We gave players that impression, but we may defy your expectations. I mean, they laughed, but I just thought maybe they maniacally laughed. So, um, interesting, interesting. I don't think they're gonna do what I hope they don't do, which is kill off Chris, but who knows? And yeah, in terms of the village title, uh, the 8 appears in the village logo, the Roman numeral 8. Why didn't you call it Resident Evil 8? You can say the village is another protagonist in the game. Want players to clearly understand that. I mean, I definitely see that point, but I think also, I mean, if you go by a lot of games that are getting high up there in terms of numbered sequels, I know from at least obviously from a marketing standpoint that could definitely be deemed as intimidating for people, especially newcomers who are want to get introduced to the series and feel like they'll be totally left out because there's been so many iterations. Um, I'm pretty sure it's probably the best of both worlds in terms of both from a marketing standpoint and their reasoning as well. That they call it Resident Evil Village. I guess maybe the unsuspecting person that maybe never played Resident Evil may like, oh yeah, I'll try this out. Resident Evil Village, and maybe not even notice the subtle numbering in it. Um I guess. I mean, either way it does work. You kind of do get the best of both worlds because at least all of us hardcore fans know that it is Resident Evil 8, but maybe people on the outside may not because they maybe it's hard to, I guess, envision a typical gamer not really picking up on that, but either way it I think it definitely worked, at least when I like play tested it and we tested it out and like they got our asked for our input on the title and everything and marketing. Yeah, it just did not really stick with me, but just seeing it all together now, it did definitely is growing on me. I definitely can see it really solidifying itself after, all is said and done and it comes out. So they do talk about the weird like ambiguous wording of his story comes to a close, but it's like, who is it? Is it Chris? Is it Ethan? I mean, both or what? But I guess very interesting what they said regarding that. We'll let you decide, but know that Village is a sequel to Resident Evil 7 Biohazard and serves as the conclusion to its story. So I think somewhere in there, maybe the next question. Resident Evil 7, Ethan is the protagonist. There is an option in 7 that changes the story. Which does Village follow? Oh yes, okay. Look closely at the trailer. They said you can see the connections between Ethan's current situation and what happened in RE7. If you haven't played RE7 yet, please do. Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely dancing around Chris's like intentions regarding the PTSD, which he had in Resident Evil 6, where he was like kind of fighting it. It seems like that's being really brought up. But at least their thoughts on it. Many feel Chris in the trailer shows he's lost his hero status. Many have guessed why. Look forward to the game. So I mean, obviously it'd be blatant spoilers if they were to, I guess, reveal that. They do say that the setting is in Europe, but they don't say exactly where. I know a lot of people were suspecting, I think to some extent, maybe somewhere close to like Resident Evil 4's original location and stuff like that. I mean, something I already knew was they had an FPS, that it is going to be FPS. Probably the bigger one here is the inventory screen, which looks very reminiscent of Resident Evil 4. Yeah, they say we can't go into detail right now, but item management is very important. Please look forward to it. So That seems to be very likely. Um, Outside of that, oh yeah, puzzles. That's a pretty good one. There's a screen look like a puzzle. We're intrigued. Is solving puzzles an integral part of Resident Evil 8? Or I guess they didn't mention 8, but Resident Evil, which I guess is more accurate. On top of fear, combat and item management, exploration is a must in Resident Evil. Solving puzzles is definitely in it. It expands the breadth of gameplay. So seems like puzzles are probably going to be more or less probably the same extent that they have been in the previous game. So I do like the puzzles. It always breaks up the monotony or helps with keeping the pace even, if that makes sense. So all in all, could interest in somewhat more solidified details on Resident Evil 8. I am very curious to see how this is, to be honest. I mean, as I said before, somebody who's very wasn't necessarily satisfied with RE7. The DLC was pretty good, specifically the End of Zoe DLC, but as a whole, yeah, I just was not satisfied. A big component of that, I would say, is the first person camera, but I think this game, from at least what I played, I think the potential in terms of everything they're doing so far definitely is there for making me overlook first person setting or first person perspective to potentially enjoy the game more. So, but I mean, of course, I had a lot of other gripes. RE7, the character, Ethan, and the enemy variety lack thereof. But stuff I already talked about before. Moving on. Call of Duty 2020. So look like there's been some hefty further leaks regarding the game. I think I'll just touch on a couple. Or actually, you know what? We can kind of actually cover a lot of these. So we'll just go over the bullet points. So 2020 game is in fact set during the Cold War era. Game is actually in a good state with multiplayer maps almost done. Campaign is in fully playable state, but not all animations complete yet. There will be a new map for Warzone with 2020 game, and says he has seen an overview of the new Warzone map. Standard mini map is back, similar to previous Call of Duty games prior to Modern Warfare. Even with standard mini map back, there's also a compass. Swimming mechanic returns. Will be water and multiplayer maps alongside water in the new Warzone map. Unlimited sprint is back. I'm pretty sure that's technically still in Modern Warfare in this current one. Yeah, I felt like you can sprint infinitely technically. I know they said you can't tactical sprint, which is like basically sprinting faster. Which for that you can only do temporarily. No interact doors in the regular mechanic stays in Warzone though. That's kind of unfortunate. That's one factor I do really like about Modern Warfare, even as minimal as it is. I think it does add a layer of strategy to the game, and just something else to kind of factor in and mix things up. I also like the door sound and mechanics, and like sprinting through a door and stuff. Just makes the game feel way more visceral, man. And that's probably I could start gushing over Modern Warfare so far, but I will not. I will not. 10 multiplayer maps currently in developed so far, more probably in the works. Treyarch style maps. Guess I'm curious what they mean by that. I guess just Treyarch's unique style to maps, which I don't feel is necessarily distinctly any different. No specialists, that's actually pretty big. Field upgrade like feature is returning. One looked like Crash's munitions box that was in Black Ops 4. That's pretty big. No specialists. I mean, yeah, there aren't any in this one, but I mean, I guess that's kind of been a ongoing thing for Black Ops, at least for the past two titles. So that's actually pretty interesting that no specialists are going to be in this one, at least if the rumors are true. Um, yeah, field upgrade. I'm curious how they're gonna do their spin on it compared to Modern Warfare. Um, yeah, very interested to see how that's gonna play out. And I think they said roughly, yeah, he says you get you get one piece from equipment to choose from. I think they said something. I heard something that there actually is going to be something similar to the Pick 10 system from the previous Black Ops games, or yeah, Black Ops. Yeah. Um, where you have way more customization options than Modern Warfare. I mean, depending on how you see it, I mean, there's still a depth of like customization you can do in essentially every Call of Duty, but you know what I mean. Score streaks will return, so actually, yeah, they're definitely encouraging more, I guess, standardized play, and hopefully thwarting campers. If this is any indication, um, yeah, I felt like Modern Warfare handled it pretty well. Kills are cool, but then you also had the option of implementing a score streak too. So I guess I don't know. I'm not either way necessarily. I'm kind of very in indifferent between both. I can sway either way, but I do have to say I am enjoying Modern Warfare's currently. But I mean, they got to mix it up to I guess make you miss the other end, which makes sense. Um, no dead silence in this game. So that's going to be interesting. Especially, it's going to be probably pretty jarring considering how Modern Warfare has put so much emphasis on footsteps than probably a lot of the past Call of Duties, to be honest. Yeah, it's probably just right behind, if not more so than the original Modern Warfare in terms of how much footsteps are so emphasized. I guess you could put Modern Warfare 2 in there, but yeah, I guess yeah, really those two essentially, but interesting stuff. Very curious to see how this is all going to come together, how the graphics are going to look, how this is going to be handled with the cross-generational jump. A lot of questions. And then, this game is actually also past going past its time that it would normally be announced by now. So we'd actually see it fully in its state and everything. Um I think they said there's gonna be an event maybe later this month. Possibly maybe during Xbox's event in July. Would not be surprised if they actually decide to reveal everything there. I doubt it's gonna be the same exclusivity deal with like they have with PlayStation. I'm not sure if that's even done, or if that's even or if this was the last year for that with Modern Warfare. Who knows? Potentially could show up at Xbox's event. It would be a pretty good time, or they may just go solo like a lot of these other companies have been doing their own like little mini events throughout the weeks this whole summer. So all in all, interesting stuff. Nothing I don't necessarily hate. There's just a lot of interesting, drastic changes. Probably the biggest standout, like I was saying before, is for sure the um no specialist. I guess that was one thing was pretty used to, accustomed to. But I mean, hey, depends on how the game feels altogether. I have to say they're gonna have some big shoes to fill to topple Modern Warfare, because man, that game has really topped my top Call of Duty of of all time. So pressure is there, Treyarch. I'm just saying it's gonna take a lot to impress me and keep me playing your game. Um, we'll see though. Moving on. Next topic. Interesting coincidental events in regards to some particular IPs that are associated with Microsoft, but weirdly, from a timing standpoint, just very interesting. So, um, it's been discovered that Fable and Perfect Dark Game placeholders uh, were basically registered on Twitter. Um, and what makes it even more weirder and added more credence to the weirdness is that a Microsoft Xbox employee is following one and another is registered to a Microsoft email address. So, yeah, very, no correlation at all, you know, not like, not like those games could be announced after being super dormant for like what Fable has been, man, like 12 years ish. Roughly, roughly say the same for Perfect Dark. I mean, if you don't count the remake or yeah, I guess remake that came out maybe I want to say 2014. I could be totally wrong, but these games have been pretty dormant for a pretty good while. I think Fable was gonna have a game that came out or come out that didn't. They ended up canceling it altogether. So yeah, I have to say, yeah, of course, out of the two, Perfect Dark for me, definitely I would like to see a continuation of a sequel. Very just curious to see how that's gonna look. Um, the weird pseudo realistic cartoony art style from the prequel was a little iffy. I mean, it's just very iffy. I guess maybe that kind of correlated with the game design of that, but it was a weird it was a weird place. It didn't really know what it wanted to be, which I think was the issue. It's like it was balancing that line too hard of either you're realistic or cartoony. It just it didn't really go well. And then on top of that, with the technical glitches and issues, didn't do it any favors either. But I have to say, from a gameplay standpoint, maybe it's just my one, the Xbox 360 coming out, as well as two, the kind of nostalgic bias, those combined when that came out on release, maybe just had me like really thoroughly enjoying the game. I had a good time with it. It didn't seem like a lot of people were playing, or it was a lot of, I always recall a lot of bots in the game, but then they were kind of interspersed between real people, so it was hard to kind of, I don't know, it was hard to, it wasn't necessarily hard to enjoy the game, but it was like hard to, I guess, turn that switch either way. Like you turn your I guess sweat call it sweat switch, whatever. That you want to get sweaty, get extra hard, and try to uh compete when you need to. You don't have to as much if you're playing a AI or a bot. So just that the matter of switching easily between the two. But I digress. Overall, I'm looking forward to it if it actually comes true. I mean, it's hard to not think that this is gonna happen, but you know, it could probably will happen. So, but yeah, Um, cool, cool stuff. Looking forward to it. And very in somewhat of a similar fashion, um, one of the one of really great games, Shadows of the Damned, directed by Suda51. To some extent, I know there's some other people involved as well as Shinji Mikami. I think he was mainly producing for the game. It looks like as of yesterday, the game is delisted. Um, so in terms of a game getting delisted, normally that either means two things: either the IP license just overall expired, which is pretty unlikely considering how I would assume EA's licensing in being very solid. I don't think they would have it in a way that this would happen. Or the other scenario is that the licenses was licensing rights was given to another person, or the rights was given to another publisher, which I mean, considering Suda's love for Shadows of the Damned, and I guess somewhat, yeah, I guess it's a pretty decent spoiler for No More Heroes. I guess I won't get into it, but I'll say that in that game, this this game's lore, Shadows of the Damned, was brought up in No More Heroes to a pretty decent extent that it wouldn't be too far fetched to believe that possibly Suda51 may have gotten the rights in order to potentially make a remake of the game. I know he had some issues with EA in terms of like them trying to, more or less restrain Suda51, which is in the grand scheme of things a horrible idea. I think maybe the game probably might have been potentially better if they didn't put Suda on such a leash. So I think there was a lot of stuff I think he wanted in the game that EA didn't or didn't approve of, that I think caused a lot of turmoil. And I think ultimately it's a good game still, but to think maybe it potentially could have been even better, considering EA's kind of what you call it, like yeah, just restrictions. So well, yeah, I mean it's not too far fetched to think that, especially considering uh what Suda has still been doing with it. So who knows? Yeah, I mean, we think maybe we get like a added super Suda51 collection, No More Heroes 1, 2, Shadows of the Damned, Silver Case, uh, some of the various other Suda51 games. Would not be too far fetched, but at least for this specifically, yeah, I think this definitely points at some either continuation of Shadows of the Damned, probably in addition to the maybe this game coming back up, but under Grasshopper Manufacture, which is Suda's studio. And yeah, potentially doing a sequel, which again, the sequel to No More Heroes kind of hinted at. So could be some involvement there, on top of the fact that No More Heroes 3 is coming out this year, mind you. So if Travis Strikes Again is any indication, maybe they might play with that more in No More Heroes 3. And if they were to buy or purchase the rights of this game, that would definitely give them way more, even complete, total, utter free reign to do whatever they please with their IP. Since hypothetically, in this case, if they were to buy it or get the rights back from EA, since EA is not, it don't seem like they're going to do anything with it anyway. So rather than let it go to waste, let the original developer director of the game, you know, put it in his hands and do something with it rather than just have it sit and just rot. When it's honestly a lot of potential of some very cool, Suda ish stuff, So I really do hope that's the case, but only time will tell. So interest in Xbox too. I mean, maybe at this July event on Xbox, this Xbox event in July, maybe we might actually see what may happen. So who knows? Good stuff either way. Very, very very happy about that. I mean, I'm a sucker for Suda, so you know, should I have that? Just get that shirt. I'm a sucker for Suda. Um, in somewhat unfortunate news, I mean, bittersweet news, if anything. Andy McNamara, the Game Informer editor in chief, is announced that he's leaving Game Informer. But he did say he's still sticking within games. I think not in particular journalism, but I think he's still going to be in the gaming industry. He hasn't revealed that yet, but I mean, at least personally, he's from, I followed him, growing up with Game Informer and always getting the magazines and stuff like that. I mean, not anymore now, but I still follow up with, their YouTube now that they're, doing the smart thing, going digital with a lot of their stuff and editorials and stuff that makes a total sense. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. 29 years of Game Informer, and just growing up reading those, getting anticipated for new games coming out and stuff like that. It's crazy. It's like the end of an era, man. Curious if there's, some possible factor that, I guess we haven't checked in on the state of GameStop, but I mean, they're definitely cutting people and stuff like that, which I doubt is what happened. But I think, considering just the weird previous cuts before and just the uncertainty with GameStop as a company, maybe some of the people are starting to see a sign to maybe get ahead of the, I guess, tide and maybe potentially move on. And I think a couple other folks coincidentally are also moving on to better, brighter things. But yeah, man, Andy McNamara, I just following him in like all media and stuff. He's always just a very interesting perspective of how he views gaming, which I definitely personally appreciated. So definitely gonna be bittersweet to see him leave, at least Game Informer in particular, not knowing what he's gonna move on to yet. So, but definitely appreciated all he did. And yeah, wish him the best of luck. 29 years in the industry. It's crazy. Super crazy. Moving on. Revealed today, very interesting. Fallout is actually freaking is actually having a TV series. It's weird. I guess I don't think you could probably ask anybody. I don't think you really expect that, but it is. Just very weird. Very weird. I don't get it. But I mean, hey. Crap. Actually, let me be right back. Something came up. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, so weird IP to have a TV series for. And it's also by the producers of Westworld, which I've only watched a few episodes. I haven't really watched it too much. I heard it's pretty good though overall. Um Having their expertise in sci-fi, that seems like it could line up potentially well. It's just weird and interesting. Yeah, Fallout of all things. And then, now the bad reputation of Fallout 76. But I mean, I guess if we have keep the memories or hold on to the memories of Fallout 3 and 4, New Vegas, of course, that maybe things might be better. But I mean, it could work. It could for sure work. It's just it could also not work. So that's it's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out. But I'm definitely interested as a pretty big Fallout fan. I'll definitely give it a check it out, especially it's on Amazon Studios. It's gonna be interesting. But yeah, outside of that, not too many details. Yeah, Fallout. How are they gonna? Yeah, just like obviously can't be no generic character. It's gonna be some actors. How that's all gonna play out? Is it actually gonna be very true to the series? Which I is definitely the reason a lot of alternate media game related IPs and whatnot end up failing, which is just totally obliterating the original material of the game. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But I'm definitely interested. I would like to see it. Hugh the Monique meme. I would like to see it. And get into some very heavy news. With the ongoing movement of bringing to attention rapists, pedophiles, all horrible people, man, just the onslaught of just craziness this week specifically, not to mention of course the other incidents that we kind of touched on before, but goodness. So there's been like a whole onslaught of I guess coincidentally Smash players that have done just a lot of pedophilic and rapist stuff, which is just crazy, man. I'm not gonna really touch on or focus on uh individuals, which I just don't think that's it's really no purpose for it. I mean, it's they're already getting whatever anyway. So, but just in terms of touching on the point and the reasoning for it, which is having people speak up about the horrible things that they are either afraid or embarrassed to, which it's totally valid, man. It needs to be done. Just having these potential rapists, not even potential, uh, established racist and pedophiles. Nobody wants that. So on the wake of that, at least some notable scenarios in particular, the head of Evo, Joey Queller. I'll say Queller. It seems like Queller, but he was outed as being a pedophile, and yeah, he's like the head of Evo. So I mean, understandably, Capcom has pulled their participation in Evo, as well as NetherRealm Studios, in terms of their participation with Evo Online, and it at this point it's like those are like the biggest ones. So now even after that, Evo themselves, I guess the company as a whole, even though it's hard to see how it's structured with him being the organizer, but I guess he's maybe not the main person. Maybe he was just a factor of being pretty up there, but maybe not necessarily a head person. I think he was, but at least how everything's structured, they managed to relieve him of being with Evo now, so he's no longer with it. But in conjunction with that, they are also ultimately just canceling Evo altogether this year. So, yeah, crazy, crazy stuff. Yeah, this whole everything, just a lot of firsts, a lot of firsts right now, which is crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, again, this is the things that needed to be happening. A lot of people we looked up to, idolized, and even potentially could have fallen into that same trap of this happening again, was thwarted. So, um, you know, what what what's the saying? What comes in what's in darkness must come in the light. What what comes in darkness must come to light. You know what I mean? Basically, justice was served. I mean, even not by police, but that's a whole other story. Ah, man, just putting that on the perspective is like so much wrong with this world, man. It is hard to fathom just the realism of it all. It's like it was there, but a lot of us didn't really notice it, or it wasn't even brought to our attention, man. It's crazy. Just a lot of these people that are like straight up prolific people in the industry. A lot of people new in love are like, just a lot of this stuff happened. It's crazy. But again, much respect, appreciation to those people taking the strength to stand up and speak up on people that have done them wrong, and they've been quiet and silent for totally valid reasons of embarrassment, not wanting to talk about it being a very sensitive, strong, hard issue for them to kind of talk about. So yeah, man, crazy stuff happening, crazy stuff. Yeah, I know it's like a lot of the topics have been brought up about like the potential state of the fighting game community. Since it's just a weird coincidence that a lot of these people are associated with the fighting game industry and are maybe potentially, without them, what would it be? But I mean, of course, I think the fighting game community is still gonna go on and still stay strong and rebuild. It's probably gonna be definitely weird for a while, but I think in due time, I think we will rebuild and we will get stronger or something, like I don't know, but yeah, man, crazy stuff. This is surreal times right now. Surreal. Well, on that unfortunate note, that pretty much concludes all the news this week. Guess we'll move on to what I've been up to gaming wise. Of course, Modern Warfare. I mean, do I even need to tell you at this point? It should be implied, but no. Yeah, so haven't put much time into this season to kind of get all the challenges and rank up, which I am doing, and of course, found out 2-time XP this weekend for both XP, Weapon XP, and Battle Pass Tier XP. So you already know. Definitely about to do some legit grinding there. Of course, I've also actually been surprisingly sticking with Animal Crossing. Yeah, man, it's been like one of the really first games I've just been like very satisfied just playing it in short bursts. Considering that's kind of how it's structured for you to play it anyway, but yeah, man, I've been thoroughly enjoying Animal Crossing. It's like I've been more patient now. I actually I managed to get the turnips that I missed last week. So I bought as much turnips as I can from the turnip lady. And yeah, these prices are fluctuating. For those that may not know, turnips are like kind of Animal Crossing's equivalent of stock. So basically, it's kind of like a risk reward thing where you invest a lot and are pretty much hoping you either um, mainly profit more than not profit or lose money or bells in this case. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. So basically, throughout the whole week, you can check the prices with your the store in Animal Crossing, and the prices fluctuate um at from 8 a.m. and then well, at least the first round is 8 a.m. and then they change after 12 p.m. So you check twice a day to check the prices. So the goal is to um sell the tournaments for more than you bought them originally, which I think this round I bought them for 90 bells, and then I'm trying to sell those for a profit. So far it's been very fluctuated. It like goes totally up and then goes totally down. It's like the only range I've been seeing is like 90 to 151 bells, which actually I kind of I was thinking about it the other way where I thought lower is better, but totally didn't make sense. So luckily I didn't bite, but hopefully now I'm gonna hold it out until I see a drastically good price. I'm like hoping like just sell it to me for like at least 500 bells, hoping for that. But we'll see. I don't know if that's gonna be fully true, fully legit. So who knows? But yeah, outside of that, thoroughly enjoying the game, and I guess I heard an update just recently came out too. So yeah, I guess I gotta these these plants are gonna plant themselves. Gotta get these weeds out. Gotta do some mining. Gotta decorate my place. Um, I guess that's one thing too. I don't think that happened since last episode. I did upgrade my place, paid off my loan, got me another room in my house. You know, it's nothing. It's nothing to me. It's just a man out here grinding, trying to get his Animal Crossing village up. It's it's nothing. You know what I mean? So overall, it's been very thoroughly fun. And then kind of a weird effect that Animal Crossing has done for me in terms of me playing it is kind of interestingly uh wanted me to, or I guess indirectly encouraging me to play the Switch more, which in that respect I'm like, man, I haven't played Monster Hunter in a while, so I'm like, let me go play a little bit of that. And I've actually been playing a fair amount of Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. I know what you're gonna say. Hey, Switch, why ain't you playing why ain't you playing Monster Hunter World? Well, I mean, what I could tell you is that I like it. I'm a masochist, so maybe I like the unrealistic, crazy difficulty and archaic stuff that Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate does over World, which yeah, man, honestly I'm thoroughly enjoying. And there's a lot of stuff that Generations does that World doesn't in terms of like styles, which is I think is very rewarding still. Rolling with a long sword adept, where you get very risk reward. You countering some stuff, but if you don't, your ass is getting getting shouldn't have bleeped up, but getting messed up, fucked up. All right, I said it. Okay. Um, yeah. So, been thoroughly trying to upgrade get my rank up to. I think my goal It's been like 100. Currently at like 84 ish, I think. Uh, I'll disclose you some like I guess hidden inspiration for me to do so. So man, it was it kind of hurts now I'm thinking about it, but it's funny either way. So at Evo, not Evo, but MagFest last year, went to MagFest, and there was this cool kiosk that basically lets you dock your Switch to play games, which I did. I was playing like Resident Evil 4 for a while, and then some dudes came and they started playing Monster Hunter Generation. Oh, I'm like, what? Are you serious? Yeah, let me get on this. So I asked them like, hey, yeah, you guys want to play or whatever? So ended up playing. I think the guy said, yeah, we're doing some super hard hunts or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, nothing. All right. I'm like rank 75. I got this. So we start oh yeah. What happened too is that for some strange reason, my copy of Monster Hunter World wasn't in my case, which it should have been, which I'm very suspicious about at this point, but that's another discussion. Yeah, my physical copy of Monster Hunter Generations wasn't there. I guess I must have put it in my case, even though I normally put it in my case to travel, but did that. And yeah, so due to that, I was like, you know what? Freak, I'm just gonna buy it. I'm just gonna buy it because I do really want to play Monster Hunter, and I do really want to play with them, and I do plan on playing Monster Hunter a lot. So I had to wait for the game to download, which was like felt like roughly an hour and a half ish, and they were playing this whole time, struggling or whatever, and I'm like, ah, damn it, man, this whole time I could be playing. So I was just letting it download, taking forever. Then game finally downloads. I think it was due also to their the MagFest Wi-Fi in terms of the whole event, how they were mitigating downloads, so they were probably throttling it to be fair and not take away from other people's internet, whatever. So game downloads, everything is intact. I'm about to start the game, and I'm like, yeah, let me join you guys, whatever. So I join them in the lobby, and they get the quest going up. I go to the quest, and then the quest requirement was like insanely high that I didn't expect. I think it was like it might have been even higher. I think it was like 150. I think you had to be like 150 or 125 maybe. I forgot. But basically, I clearly wasn't at that level. It would take me forever to do it. So I was like, oh, crap. Damn, man. I'm sorry. So, I felt bad because I felt like I was, leading them on, thinking that, I was legit and could play, which I was. But I think, if the requirement wasn't there, I would have been able to, I would have been able to hold my own. Would have been maybe a struggle, but, I would have got through it. But yeah. So then it was like just the weird awkwardness of like, well, I freaking downloaded the whole game. I guess I gotta play a bit. So we're just sitting together, all playing. They're playing like, on super urgent, difficult hunts, and I'm just like, well, I guess I'm gonna just hunt me some Ligarius's, get a Rathalos or something. And I'm just, oh man, I felt horrible, man. I felt less of a person. I was like, am I even a gamer anymore? Because it's one thing to be of a particular level, but then when you just get dwarfed by other people, and you just feel less of a person. So after that day, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a vow to get on that level I wasn't before. So the next year, well, I mean, shoot, MagFest is probably not even gonna happen this year if we gonna be honest. But next time I go to MagFest, this won't happen again. I will be stronger than I was before. I will not be the person I was before. So That's what led me on this weird determination to basically reach whatever level to if that moment happens again, I will be able to play. I will be able to hold my own and we will conquer. So very, very dumb. But man, that got to me, to be honest, man. That got to me. That made me feel some type of way. Not even going to lie. Not even gonna lie. But yeah, so that's pretty much been my interesting escapades. At least this week. At least in terms of what I've been watching. So, caught up with Deadly Premonition 2. I saw that awesome ass gameplay trailer from I think IGN. It was like a 17-minute video. Basically just showed you the gameplay of Deadly Premonition 2. Totally love the first one, by the way. So just some context. Given its weirdness, clunkiness, and just overall zaniness. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I mean, Deadly Premonition 2, at least the trailer showed like, okay, yeah, seems to be more or less the same, which is totally fine with me, up my alley. I'm in it. Then I watched the gameplay trailer showing all the, general flow of the game, and I'm like, after the fact, I'm like, oh yes, I am freaking sold. I cannot wait. July, I think it was 10th originally, but I think it got moved to the 14th. May still be the 10th, but I can't wait. So, kind of with this hype, I'm like, you know what? I heard a lot of things about Twin Peaks, which is basically the show that this game got a lot of inspiration from, and you could definitely tell because that's at least what I've been watching recently. I think I'm on episode 7, but Twin Peaks has been like, it's been good. It's been good. It's like it's a weird, like, I guess inverse or polarity, but it's like because of Deadly Premonition, I really wanted to watch Twin Peaks when I think I would assume generally maybe to some extent it might be the other way, but yeah, I was like, you know what, let me watch this, see what this all is about, and how much of this inspiration is from. And man, yeah, it is. There is no like discrepancy at all, direct references and just overall very similar parallels. Totally makes sense. So yeah, I've been thoroughly enjoying that so far. It's been up my alley, man. Just especially coming from Deadly Premonition, which is, I guess, it's such a weird complex when you think about it. That, I don't know, I guess to me it seems like you would just watch Twin Peaks and like, man, wish there was a game I could play that is just like that. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. I guess coming from somebody that mainly plays games over anime and TV and stuff. So, but I digress. Thoroughly enjoying it. Recommend it if you haven't watched it. If you're in a mystery, I guess maybe the best correlation is maybe Law and Order, kind of. It's not necessarily horror. It's got elements for sure, but it's not really blatant gore and horror or anything like that. It's more thriller so far. I think there's 2 seasons. I want to say there's maybe an additional season that he like came back somewhat recently, like 4 or so years ago. So I'm very curious to see how all that plays out, especially together. But yeah, on Netflix, Twin Peaks. I do recommend it. I am enjoying it so far. I haven't gotten through it. Again, episode 7. So yeah, outside of that, pretty much what I've been up to. So yeah. Yeah, so I think no, I haven't. I'm still on that. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier as well. But yeah, guys, I think that's gonna conclude episode 62 of Switches Sites. Man, I really need to remember the order of housekeeping. Yeah, if you enjoyed this show, And yeah, like the show in any way. Feel free to like, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff on your favorite podcasting platforms. You can also catch the show live on Twitch, where I do record it live on freaking Twitch TV, Twitch TV/A Switch. You can also, damn it, catch the archive of the show on youtube.com/A Switch as well. I think that's it. Trying to remember if there's anything else. Yeah, may stream some Resident Evil Outbreak because I am missing that game. Probably Resistance so I can miss Outbreak more, and then I'll probably play Outbreak after, something like that. I don't know. That might be in the works. We'll see. But yeah, I think that is it for this episode. Again, be safe. Be safe. Don't cough. Don't touch people. Of course, obviously. And get your game on. Until next time. Oh.